Okay, welcome. I'm gonna start off this Biznovator talk. We usually do these in person, but we're maximizing and optimizing technology and obviously using our Zoom. I'm gonna turn it over to Christine, who's gonna welcome us. We got a number of people from actually some different countries, but mostly folks from Haiti, and Christine will get into some details and I'll come right back in. It's promptly, we're on time at 6:03, 6:02. Christine Balmir Rock from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. You're on.
Yes, so good evening, everyone. And my name is Christine Rock, and I represent Biznovator here in Haiti. So welcome to this virtual Biznovator talk organized with the members of the PTA of Union School, especially Françoise Marzouka and Coty Bijot that helped us put this together. So, I have seen firsthand the impact of this program can have on our youth. And we are very excited we get to share this information with all of you tonight. So with that said, I'm pleased to introduce the CEO and founder of Biznovator, and also my dear friend, Juan Pablo Casimiro.
Oh, yes, thank you, Christine, for the great work you do. I've always shared that Haiti, in comparison to other countries where we have representatives, is the country that most often hosts workshops, that sends the most students in the last 3 to 4 years to our Biznovator camp at FIU. So there must be something great that you're doing that people are buying into the importance of investing time, energy, and mindsets with their children. And I really can share that with experience. There's not one parent that I've met there that says, hey, when's the next one coming? What's next? What's on the agenda? So today we're putting together the Biznovator talk because we can't be there in person, but we are live. We are live virtually, and again, maximizing this opportunity to reach some of you. In fact, there's more people than we think are on, because there are some groups that are together in one screen. So I want to welcome all of those who are here. If you can, for those who are present, that we can see your name, please put your camera on. That's one of my golden rules. You must put your cameras on, because I don't want to feel like I'm just talking to a screen. Upper left here, you got two twin sisters. One is Virginia, the other is Catalina, an amazing students from Los Condres, Argentina. One specializes in technology. She's amazing. She's literally designing, editing websites, editing out videos, editing out and troubleshooting technology at the age of about 14. Introduce yourself, Virginia, real quick.
Hello, everyone. We are Virginia and Catalina Ciancia. We are 14 years old and we live in Argentina. We made the virtual visit camp on July 6, 2020, and it was an amazing experience for us.
Yeah, and we're also junior coaches at Biznovator, and well, in my case, as Juan said, I'm an executive assistant of technology at Biznovator and for Juan Casimiro.
So Biznovator helped us in this process of discover our passion, and that for us is wonderful.
Thank you. And when I tell people that I'm going to introduce you to my executive assistant, my right-hand person, I send them to Catalina and they say, huh? Is she an intern? Is she a student? She's both, but more than that, she's my executive assistant. And I really mean that. So when I send her to communicate with adults and communicate through mail, phone calls, she's an amazing professional at the age of 14. I always say that because I want students, young people, to see and feel that it's possible, that you can have amazing skill sets with the right mindset, that regardless of the circumstance and your age, you got this and you can make things happen. So they are two alumni from Argentina. And we also have Rosa, who's another alumni from the camp we did in 2019 in person. And she graduated from a university in Georgia. And in addition to one business, she has other businesses. She's also one of our trainers for our virtual biz tech camp, like Catalina, Virginia. Introduce yourself all the way from Costa Rica.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Rosa. I'm 22 years old. I was lucky enough to do a Biznovator camp in person before everything happening. So it was an amazing experience, everything for learning my passions, learning how to, a lot of life skills, business skills, financial skills, and all of that is not learned in many schools. So being able to have that experience was really helpful for me, and I'm very happy to be able to work at this amazing company. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
And Catalina, Virgie, and Rosa, if you've been through amazing experiences with Biznovator, wait till we run the Ultimate Life Summit at Disney soon, hopefully in 2023 or maybe in 2022, but it's an amazing program. I want to introduce also another alumni from some years ago, Jorge, who is in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. So Argentina, I'm in Dominican Republic, Santiago presently. You got San Jose, Costa Rica, and we got Santo Domingo, in this case, Dominican Republic. And we heard from Christina in Haiti. It's all possible. Maximizing opportunities through technology. Jorge, do you want to introduce yourself real quick, please? If you're still there, I'm not sure. If not, he must have stepped away. He's one of our techies. Now, it's my honor again to welcome all of you, the parents. Please listen carefully, take notes. This is going to be a very important Biznovator talk. Like I said, we usually do this live in person in Haiti and elsewhere, but we're taking advantage of the resources. And we were very fortunate to have available with us today a very busy friend, partner, my brother, Jeff Waller from Atlanta, Georgia. He went to Georgia Tech University, has run numerous businesses, and we co-founded this amazing movement some years ago. I want to say 12, 13 plus years ago, that you'll hear more about, called the 7 Mindsets. Wow, the way it's transformed the lives of both parents and adults, it's amazing. It's just the beginning. But more importantly, we're going to hear from him and everything related to the topic that we have today, from his point of view as an author, as an entrepreneur, and as a parent who most recently sent his son off to college at the University of Alabama. Daniel is a freshman. So you're going to hear it fresh from the mouth and from the spirit and the experiences that Jeff has had with Daniel and the situations, the challenges, and so on that all of us are facing. Once again, please, out of courtesy, put your cameras on, those who are on Zoom, so that we can welcome our guest, Jeff Waller. I'll have a series of questions for you, Jeff.
Okay.
But also free to ask me questions and introduce yourself, what your role is. Why did you get into all this? Empowering young people, writing a book about it, or several books. What was the big motivation behind it, Jeff? And once again, Jeff, thank you for being here. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I think for me, you were the motivation, man. I saw you work your magic back in 2007, 2008. And I remember doing one of our first events with you, and we were teaching the 7 mindsets. And I just remember, actually seeing what I was doing helped somebody, and feeling that feeling, of doing something that mattered, that was helping someone be happier, do more with their life, and have a greater impact. And I just think that's the goal of this business, and so I kind of decided at that point I want to dedicate my life to trying to figure out how to help young people be happy. It's not making money. It's about just finding joy in life. And part of that's being productive and doing things that you're proud of and having accomplishment. And part of it's, finding meaning and joy and helping others. And so that really was what we were interested in doing, because I think that's what the world needs the most. And Juan was a big part of a 3-year effort, a 3-year research effort. I think it's the largest study that's ever been done on, what does it take to be happy? What does it take to find meaning? What does it take to have impact with your life? And be successful. And and we did that from probably 2006 to 2009. And what we learned was it's not what you know. It's how you think. It's your mindsets. It's your attitudes. It's your perspectives that allow you to take advantage of the opportunity that this life gives you and the education system provides. And so we've dedicated our life since 2009 to really, teaching young people these things we call the 7 mindsets. And so my partner Scott Schickler, with a lot of input from Juan, wrote a book in 2011 called The 7 Mindsets, which was a bestseller. We've been distributing that into the schools here in the United States. We're now in, can't believe it, we're in 47 states. I think we just hit over 2 million students that we're serving with that. And it's just awesome. It's been just fantastic. And then I recently wrote a book, which we published in January of 2020, called Ridiculously Amazing Schools. How do we create a culture where everybody can thrive inside our education system? And so my big focus now is really to help educators. What we kind of learned is, we got to make our teachers great. We got to get them feeling good about who they are and the work that they're doing. We got to get them feeling that feeling that I felt in 2009, that I'm building a relationship and I'm making a connection and I'm having an impact in a young person's life. We got to get them to be authentic and powerful and confident and comfortable when they get in front of those students. And that's what Ridiculously Amazing Schools is all about. And that's kind of where we're focused now as an organization. And so if you hear me call Juan Poppy, it's just, he's always been Poppy to me. And so it's hard for me to call you Juan. But just know that it goes way back. And he's always been the father of the youth empowerment movement, in my opinion. And it's always been an honor to know him and to work with him and to stay associated with him in any way we can. And I know hopefully we're going to continue to do stuff together, Juan.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And I know that this particular session, obviously the importance of empowering teachers, but we also have some parents with questions and inquisitive minds, a lot of confusion, the social impact, where we're at in education and so on. But how do you see how do you see the right that every child has, including the parents, to a good, solid education being threatened today, right, by this pandemic, right? Every child should have an education. And the reality is that today they're learning differently if they're learning. Schools are saying we're behind. Teachers are saying the kids socially are not the same. Principals saying we're very concerned because we see the issues. How do you see that? What do you have to share about? Because you're now in over 1,000 schools now, right? Or almost 1,000 schools.
It's big number, man. It's exciting. So we're getting a lot of feedback, a lot of feedback from schools. We used to ask probably 3 years ago what their biggest problem was. It was like social media, it was bullying, and now it's mental health. It's like these kids are struggling mentally. And I remember many years ago, Juan, I think I don't know, we used to go every now and then. We go over to Africa. We teach the 7 mindsets, and we'd be working in these villages, talking to these kids, and just realizing that they were like just worried where they're going to get water from, or food that day, or where they're going to sleep. And if basic human needs aren't met, if you don't feel safe, if you don't feel secure, if you got anxiety, if you got certain things that I think have become greater and more pronounced because of the pandemic, because of what we've gone through, if those basic human needs aren't met, you can't really take advantage of the opportunity that the education system provides. I mean, if you don't know where you're going to sleep that night, where your next meal is coming from, if you're struggling with anxiety or depression, you can't be present for that teacher when they're in front of you trying to teach you how to do Pythagorean theorem, and even care about it, because at that point it's not that important. Now, I was teaching at an Indian reservation in California about a year and a half ago, and I talked to a teacher, and 15 of her 29 students lived with neither their biological mom or biological father.
Half.
Right. I just remember thinking, how what are the chances, what that kid has to overcome and persevere to put themselves in a position to take advantage of the educational opportunity that they're getting is so much more than my kids have to put up with.
Right.
And so how do we create a space where every kid, not only has a right to education, but is able to get to a place where they can take advantage of it? Because I'm telling you, most teachers are fantastic. Most schools are great. It's just about, getting those kids into those seats, engaged, so that they can take advantage, of what's going on in that classroom. And I mean, education is the great equalizer, but those kids have to be in a position to take advantage of it. And it breaks my heart, because it's just kind of a reality.
Yeah. That's some good point. By the way, let me share a little commercial. We're live in person also on Instagram, on Facebook, and I believe on YouTube, and Jorge is managing that. If you have some questions for those who are live through Instagram, post that question and we'll be able to get back to you on that. But also for the parents who are on this Zoom and the students, if you have some questions, write them down on the chat. We got Catalina, Rosa, and others helping us out with answering those questions. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing. What you have mentioned something about not having a fair game, let's call it. Haiti, for example, is in a very vulnerable situation today. And we are trying to keep those kids motivated that can barely even go outside due to the security issues and so forth. Right? That some aren't even back at school because of certain issues and so on. What's the best thing a parent can do to at least keep that kid motivated? What are some things, some tips that you can give them to not themselves stress out? Because I get parents who say, Juan, can you help coach my kid? And on the side, they'll say, by the way, I need your help too.
Yeah.
Because they're pulling their hairs and they're trying to figure it all out, man. And this webinar is about what do we do as we get these kids ready to go to college, right? And that's where we're at right now. But what are some tips you would give them?
That's a really good question, and it's hard. It's hard to completely relate, but I'll tell you what I believe is what changed me as a parent. What I believe has changed a lot of people that we work with, I don't know. I think it's real easy as a parent, especially when you're going through a lot of adversity and a lot of challenge, to have kind of this deficit mindset. That you're projecting, you're scared. You're scared of the future, and you're scared of what opportunities your child is going to have in the future, and are they going to be able to take advantage of that? And it's what I've learned is I struggled with my oldest, and I just had this deficit mindset. How is he going to do these things? And gosh, I just don't see how he's going to be successful, and I just had to, I just projected fear, and I think what we got to do is we got to see the greatness. We got to see the opportunity. We got to see what it is about our children that makes them special. Energy flows where attention goes. The things that we focus on are the things that are going to expand. And if we decide to focus on what's broken, what scares us, the relationships that aren't working in our life, that's where we're going to put our energy. And those are the things that are going to grow. And our life's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. But But if we can just shift, and it's so hard as a human being, it's so hard because we have been designed to be critical, right? When things frustrate us, when things scare us, it raises our emotion and it gets our attention and our focus. And it's so difficult to shift, you know, and really take the time to focus on what's going right. And I'm telling you, there are so many things going right, you know, and if you can just pay attention to those things, if you can start to recognize and celebrate those things and let your child know what's great about them and what's special about them and what gets you excited about their future, then they start to believe that, right? You compel them to believe that in themselves. And then they'll find the courage to start to act on that greatness. And they're going to find other parts of greatness. And so it's so hard, you know, as you're going through struggles. But I'm telling you, there's stuff going right. And sometimes it's tiny, but you got to find it and start there and build from it. And I think that completely changed everything for myself and my son. And it first of all gave me a completely different perspective on his future. And it completely changed the dynamic of the relationship that we had. And I believe it ultimately allowed him to find himself and become the man that I know he could be and really start to thrive. And so that's my advice. I know it's kind of warm and fuzzy, but I'm telling you, it works. And it is true. If you see what's going right, that stuff's going to continue to grow and get better. You know,
focus on the positive. I remember over in Atlanta when I used to visit, you were in that mode, right? That struggle. Daniel was trying to discover more about himself and so forth and so on. And then eventually just started to click. But there's a lot of other sources there that influence. He played sports, for example, right?
Yeah.
He had dad as mentor / coach. He's done camps. He's done all these things that are very, very important today beyond the regular academic, you know, classroom tasks, right?
Yeah.
But what are some challenges? What's one challenge that's most common based on the work that Mindsets is doing, Seven Mindsets is doing with all these schools? What's one common denominator that you've observed both through the teachers that have told you about the students as a challenge today? Let's say in any school in the United States or in the world, what is a common, you know, complaint about a student from the teacher perspective, the student or the parent?
Disengagement.
Disengagement.
You know,
explain what that is. Explain what that is.
They're you know, they don't think school's relevant. You know, they aren't interested, and they aren't alive. You know, and you know, as an educator, if that student's not engaged, not interested in what you have to say, I don't care. You know, you got to make it relevant. You got to make it engaging. You know, and I mean, I tell you, when we built the 7 Mindsets, I mean, one, because of you, and because of Scott, and because you guys had worked with youth since, I don't know, 1940. No, I'm just kidding. Since the 1980s.
80s, please.
80s, yeah, man. We just decided to create a language and create videos and foster discussion that was relevant and engaging, you know, to let kids talk about them and their lives and how these important things were relevant to them, you know, and I think you got to find those pathways. You got to find the way to make stuff relevant, you know, and, you know, sports, you know, I think the best thing that my son ever did was he quit sports when he was 9th grade, and he got a job at a golf course.
Working.
And he'd go to this job 2-3 days a week, and you know, he seemed to like it. He was definitely coming back, you know, and I just remember when he graduated high school, he went to graduation. The next day was his last day at his job, and he came back and said it was a lot harder leaving my job than graduating, you know, leaving high school, that he had, it had been that important. And as I just thought through, you know, probably a 6-month period where he just really started doing great stuff, man, you know, engaging and just being awesome, you know, and I think that job was it for him. He found something. He loved money. He loved the idea of making money, and he loved the idea of how the golf course ran its business to be successful, you know, and he just got excited by that, you know, and he would talk about how cool it was, you know, when someone showed up, what they would do to make that person feel comfortable. And that was his thing. And that's what brought him alive. There's a great quote. It's my favorite quote, which says, you know, and I think don't do what the world needs. Find out what makes you come alive and go do that, because what the world needs is people to come alive. You know, and that job in its own way really kind of brought him to life. You know, I mean, he got to believe in himself. They loved him. The people, the customers loved him, and he started to feel really good about himself. And he came alive, you know. And once he came alive, forget it. It's over. You know, everyone has a chance to do something extraordinary. And I just knew in that stretch, when I saw him sort of do that I was like, all right, we're going to be okay here. You know, he's going to be fine. You know, that's kind of what I was thinking. So
I often get parents, a couple of things. They'll reach me when there's a problem or a challenge that they're facing with their child. But I always say, also reach me when there's great things happening with your child. Praise them, recognize them, do something great for them when they do great things or when they're coming out of these challenges. Because it's not easy. You know, you just said it clearly.
Yeah.
Let them find something. I mean, it was golf for Daniel. It could be something else. It doesn't have to be just great academic performance.
No.
That's where we get confused. I mean, I have one kid that loves collecting rocks. And he collects it and puts positive messages. That turned his world, turned it into a business. And he did better academically because of that. Collecting rocks, right?
Yeah.
It could be anything, not something that we as parents think the standard way is, you gotta be that A student, you gotta be that B student, there's so many things that kids can do to discover that magical golden nugget, right?
Right.
And then you drive on that, right? You focus on that and take it to another level.
I think that's it. I mean, you know, it is when something's not working, and you're going through that process with a kid, it gets your attention, and that's when you get like, I don't know, you just get all fired up, you know, and that's when you get all this high energy going and focused, and somehow we got to shift. We need that energy when stuff's going right, you know. Kids want energy. Energy's love to them, you know. When you know, and so it's just change that energy, electrify the positives, and when something's you know, not you still got to deal with it, but just, you know, don't you know, just let's get through it in a practical way. And it is true. I mean, we electrify those problems, and that's where we put all this attention, all this focus, and we become poets, and we give them these lectures, and it just, you know, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's like, take that lecture, you know, let's celebrate the success. That's awesome, man. You know, you painted a rock today. That's incredible. Right? You took initiative, you painted a rock, you put a positive message on it. I could see you come alive. That's awesome to see that, man. Keep that up, you know? And it's magic.
Jeff, not too long ago, you drove your son to Alabama and you dropped them off at college. What were because the parents also want to hear, what does that kid need now, be it a junior, sophomore, senior in high school, that soon will be applying or hopefully has applied for college, regardless of the turbulence that we're seeing around the world? What did he leave with to get into Alabama? Because it's a very competitive school. What was it? 3, 4, 5 things that you can think of from the top of your head when he said, you know what, this is it. I'm a senior. I can't keep messing up. I can't keep fooling around. This is it. What were some of those things?
I think it's one thing, you know, and I don't know how he got it. I attribute this to the people. Yeah, that's the one thing I've learned is, you know, there's things that your kids get taught that there's a lot better people to do it than you as a parent. And I think probably the most important quality that Daniel ultimately developed that allowed him to get into Alabama and that's allowing him to thrive, he learned there's someone other than me, you know, and Lily, it was just accountability, you know, that at some point he figured out that it was up to him, you know, and he got to the point where he didn't want us to help him. He wanted to take care of it. When things would go wrong, he wouldn't point fingers. He'd take accountability for it. And I feel like somewhere, some way along the way, he just learned that he had control of his destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you always say the greatest thing I could ever do as a parent is allow my child to thrive without me. And as many times as I say that, I don't think I was very good at that, but somehow Daniel got that, and I mean, I know now that I could leave tomorrow and he'd be fine, because he knows he's got it. He's in control of it. And I think, part of that, if I could go back and change things, let them make mistakes more. Let them make mistakes while they're under your roof and they're not that big. And, don't try to help them with their tests. Let them fail, let them fall down. I mean, I'm telling you, one test score in high school just doesn't really matter. It just isn't a big deal, and he would get zeros on homework and we just go ballistic, and I mean, in hindsight, it was just complete wasted time, because ultimately he figured it out, and so I don't know. I think that's it. If you can get your kid to recognize that they have control of their future, that things are going to go wrong, but they can change future circumstances based on what they do and the decisions they make and the actions they take, and to stop blaming others and to start seeing what they need to be doing to get to the next level. Right. That was what changed the game for him. When I say he became a man, that's what happened, was that. And that was it, He's kind of a pretty smart kid naturally, so, it really wasn't that. But it just was just that, I got it. Like you said, you got this. I got this, Dad, I love you, man. Thanks for everything, but I don't really need you that much. I mean, what I'm saying? He just feels in control, and he just acquired that along the way somehow, some way. Maybe some of it was my wife and I, but it feels like it was other people that gave him that.
And we know how much challenges and setbacks are really preparing you to build certain strengths. And sometimes the parents don't allow them to learn or to make the mistakes and to fall down. We want to be there holding them, guiding them 100%. Look, it's good, but at the same time, I much rather they fail while at home, right, versus them failing while they're away because you have no access to them, right? And the more they can explore and learn and discover, we always talk about passion. And then I hear parents, well, he likes music. There's no money to be made with that passion. So we got to change that. So right there, you're killing dreams. You hear that a lot. Christine, for example, has two children, one child already in college, sophomore, freshman. Soon her son is going to college. And then the role modeling they're giving her youngest son, Luca, is amazing. So also you could count on your siblings with examples because you don't know all the answers. She's decided, like many other parents, send them to these type of experiences, the Ultimate Life Summits, the Biznovator camps, the workshops, because it's not all in the classroom. Right. I think it's a portion of being in the school, but success is outside of that school, very much so. And I think she, as a model parent, I know going back 5 years, we were connecting on the Biznovator camp. And 1 year she wasn't able to send them, but she knew the value that was going to have for her boys and her daughter, and really shared that. So I know that there are parents here right there, like you're saying, okay, my kid hasn't applied for college yet. What do I do? There are resources, there are options. There's college prep workshop we've got coming up. There are internship opportunities they can do. Maybe not in Haiti presently, but you need to tap into resources and look at maybe a gap year, a gap semester, like one of Christine's son did an internship, Alec, before going to college in January. He just finished an internship, and that prepared him differently. So it's not always your traditional way. And that's pretty much what we're talking about, getting your kid ready here with the mindsets and discovery. And oftentimes they don't get to discover because they feel they have that pressure from mom and dad that I got to be that accountant, or I got to be that A student. And it's painful, but I see it a lot. I really do. Yeah. Does any parent have a question for those who don't have your cameras on? We don't know where you're at, maybe in the living room or in the kitchen and having dinner and so on. But if you have a question, type it, or if you're here live in person and we can see you, please pose any questions you may have. Christine or Paola, I see you. Marie, you're on there if you have a question. Anybody have a question before we continue? Okay. What about the students? I see one student there, Paola. I see another face of a student there, but not on the camera. Do you have a question, Paola, for us? Mom or daughter?
Hello. Hello,
Hi.
nice meeting you from Honduras, Paola, and my daughter, Camilla.
Fantastic.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for this opportunity. My English is not so good. I have to practice it a little bit more, okay? But I will do my effort, okay?
We understand you.
Thank you.
Very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
We were talking with my daughter that one question that we have is, how can I help her to identify what she wants to do in her life, her career? It's like something, it's a tough decision, right, for her. She has been telling me one thing 1 year, then another year another thing, and I understand that completely. But how, as her mother, how can I help her to identify what she wants to do? Because at the end, I hope she can do what she likes, right? Not only what people is saying you to do, it's what you really would like to do forever, right, in your life. So how can I help her? Some tips maybe that you can have.
I'll let Jeff answer some of that, but let me ask Paola a question, your daughter rather. What are some things you want to do at a very young age? What are some things you would like to do?
I am very attracted to stuff related to leadership, like critical thinking, debates, public speaking. I really like that.
Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing. I heard about 3 different things. So let me ask Mom. Let me ask Mom, have you fostered that? Have you put her in a position to be part of leadership, critical thinking, and those things that she's sharing?
Yes, definitely. We are from Honduras, and in here, to be honest, we don't have so many opportunities like in other countries. But even though I have been always with her looking for opportunities. One of them was, I don't know if you have related her about the Amazing Shake competition that it's in Atlanta. That it's about leadership. Camilla had the experience when she was 11 years old to have a trip by herself with her teacher, and she went to our RCA in Atlanta and compete in a competition about leadership and good manners. And then she had the opportunity also to participate in the same competition, but virtually, because we were in the middle of the pandemic. And she also had the opportunity to be in a Biznovator camp. So I'm always looking with her, of course, she's the one that she's telling me, look, Mom, there's something here. And that's mainly the reason why we are here also, okay? She, by the way, she sent me today 2 reminders. Mom, we have to connect. Mom, remember. Yes.
She's proactive, and you're on the right path. You're on the right path. But Jeff, why don't you answer in helping other parents that have the same question, but they're often afraid to ask them in these type of forums. But they have the same question. But thank you for.
I tell you, you're doing everything right.
Yeah.
And you're going to be great. Passion is, I don't think I've ever felt like I was there, but now that I look back, it was always right there, you know? And so the fact that you're searching for it, the fact that you're creating experiences that let you pursue that passion and develop that passion, the fact that you will make that a lifelong quest, you know, because I can just tell, the fact that you seem to already be aware of some things like leadership and debate, which obviously have very relevant impacts in the different things that you can do, that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it's just a constant journey. And I think a lot of times, you know, we'll ask kids what their passion is, and I like to play soccer, you know, or I want to be a singer. And that's like the easy answer. But the reality is, you know, you got to really love soccer to become a professional soccer player. I mean, you got to really love it. Like, you got to be willing to make a lot of sacrifices. And while the idea of it might be cool, you know, it's not really for most people. And what I found, you know, we have people that are trainers in our company. They just train. And, you know, I don't think many kids grow up, I want to be a trainer. You know, I want to train people. But man, they are so passionate about what they do. They absolutely love being up there in front of teachers and building relationships and being able to share ideas and thoughts that they know are going to help those educators and help kids. I mean, they are completely alive, just like, you know, Messi is on the soccer field. You know, it's the same level of genius. It's the same level of passion, you know, that you see when Beyonce's singing on stage. They found it in training, you know, and I guess I don't know if that helps you, but the fact that you're aware of that, the fact that you're searching for it, the fact that you understand that your daughter needs to be alive, that she needs to wake up in the morning excited about what she does, that she needs to understand that the things that she's doing are impacting other people. She's understanding that she's going to be appreciated and respected and thought highly of because she's good at what she does. She's doing something that matters to her, that's important to her. The fact that you're asking those questions tells me that you're going to get there. And you know what? It may not feel like you're ever there, but someday you'll look back and say, you know, I was there. It was pretty good. You know what I mean? So I just say keep doing what you're doing. Don't get frustrated. It's not always going to be smooth. But what I know is a child who's persistent will always create a great story for themselves. So just keep at it. I don't know. I hope that helps.
Well, let me share, Paola. It is said that 50% shown up, being present. Tell you that we've sent information to hundreds of parents, but you chose to be here with your daughter. That's halfway there. That you are present, and you have her next to you, and that message you're giving your daughter just by your presence, nonverbal, just your presence tells her something amazing. Right? Now think about all those parents that say or ask what you're asking, but sometimes they're not present or enough, being present enough. So that's part of it too, that you are present.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny. It's a good point, Juan. Yeah, as a parent, I want to have the secret formula. You know, I want to be able to share the wisdom that changes everything. And then when my kids share with me the moments when I had impact, I don't remember them. You know, it was like just these random things. And like you said, I was just there. I was just I was present. I was engaged. I was listening. I didn't have the answer, but it's just all in the process, you know? And that's a good point, Juan. It's a good point.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing, Paul. Again, I encourage those who might be live on Instagram or on Facebook, if still there, but those particularly on this Zoom chat, and call rather, please ask questions. Don't be afraid of anything. Just share so that we could be of the most help. As a matter of fact, that's one of the challenges that in our culture, I don't know if it's a Caribbean or Latin thing, I will get some emails one-on-one 2 days later, and I'm saying, why aren't you asking the question now? Because your question represents many people on this call, and nobody asked the question. So thank you, Paula, for asking the question. I'm sure it's answering questions of those who are online here, but we don't see them for whatever the reason, but please ask questions. There's a dialogue and exchange. Now, if not, let's hear from Rosa. What's one thing your mom always did or started to do that propelled your success? Here's a young lady, Jeff, with multiple businesses, left home in Costa Rica to go to college in Georgia. I met her at a camp at University of Miami, and she, at a young age, it's just what I call monster in this sense, doing amazing things for her age. And her clients are older women than her. You know, so she's coaching and working with women. But what was it that your mom did? What was it that helped you propel to where you're at today?
Thank you, Juan. So my mom was always looking for opportunities. She was always like, do you like this? Are you interested in doing this? Look at this leadership camp, or look at this conference. We're always watching like business programs. And I think that programmed me in a way that I'm always looking to achieve more, do what I want, look for my goals. I'm really thankful that I was never put in a position where you have to study this, you have to do this. It was always like, what do you want to do and how can I help you? So I really love Paola's question, and I somehow identify a lot with what she's doing with her daughter, because it reminds me a lot of my mom. So from a daughter, I can tell you that you're doing a good job with her, and that's what I wanted to say.
Rosa, think back now, December 4 years ago, where were you at while in high school? Meaning, what status were you at 4 years ago before going to college, or 6 years ago, whenever that was? What did you do that these folks here tonight should be aware of for their children applying to college?
Oh, I was always contacting the students already in their universities. I was like texting them via Messenger, Facebook, like, oh, I saw that you were part of this career and I'm interested in doing this. Can you tell me more information? Who can I connect with more? And even though I didn't go to those colleges, it was a good opportunity for me to get a scope into what the classes was going to be, how to connect with more people, how to get in contact with the right people to get like scholarships, or tell me more information about the programs and more of that. So it's always trying to connect with more people, because you don't know, like maybe you don't go to that university at that point, but the connection still goes on, and later on it will be really beneficial.
And Rosa, you secured your own scholarship, knowledge, your energy, you were proactive. A lot of times parents ask me, help me get scholarships. And I say, how come I'm not talking to your child? Your student, your child should be talking to me, not you, because they have to get the scholarships. They got to write the essay. They got to take the SAT. They got to get the GPAs. They got to volunteer and intern and get a job. But it's the mom, typically, what do I need to do? And I say to them, number one, let me talk to your child. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to take the classes or get into college for them. Right. So I'm glad that you were able to secure, your funding, the acceptance to several colleges that you applied. How many did you apply to that senior year in high school?
I applied to 4 of them and I got accepted to all of them.
So applied to 4 and accepted to 4. Fantastic. I always encourage students to apply to 10 and then narrow the list down to your top 3. Visit those if possible before you even accept to go there, and really look at those campuses and enjoy that experience for that weekend or one-day tour or whatever. Very important. But I think it starts before that. I think it's the mindset. And Jeff alluded to that. One particular young lady, Catalina, at the age of 13, when I met her, Catalina is already thinking, her and her sister already talking about a master's degree, and they're, I think, sophomores in high school. They're already talking about being a professional coach. She's already talking about maybe even being a professor. She's only 14, but she's speaking that language at 13 when I first met her. And I said, I got to meet her mother or her father. Who's behind all this? And her mom, like you, Paola, is everything green light from a discovery perspective, from an experiential learning perspective. Every program imaginable, her mom says, go out and do it and learn it. She doesn't get involved. It's always me and Catalina, Virginia directly. And they've been connected just about every day, running part of Biznovator. And I can't get rid of them. They found that thing like Daniel found golf. They love this. So what I do is keep encouraging them. Catalina, how are you and where are you today with so much that you've done so far? And how much or how significant were your parents in all this?
Of course, my parents are always with me, they support me in everything that I do. But I think that it's really important that everybody can find like their passions, their things that they love to do. Because before having a camp with Biznovator, I didn't have like my passion. I was like a little bit lost. I didn't have like a thing that I love to do. I didn't have that. But I think that with Biznovator, I discovered, all that had to be, with the coaching, also the public speaking. And that for me is amazing because if I take all these opportunities with Biznovator, it will be easier for me to get to college in the future and it will be better for me.
Yeah,
so
any type of workshop that I see that benefits all our alumni, I encourage them. So Catalina's been to one of the leading seminar leaders, speakers, motivational speakers is Ismael Cala. It's all for adults. She's got 6 certificates from them, right? All her asking me, what's the next one that I can go to? And she signs up, and sometimes they'll see her face on these webinars or certification programs. And some people think it's a mistake that she's in the wrong workshop because she's so young, but she's there by intent. And she's got 6 certifications, public speaking, this and that. Amazing. So parents, please listen to this. You have to make sure your children own their success. They got to own it. It's theirs. You are facilitator. You are supporting them. You are fostering, their desires and so on, but they own it. And if they're going to fail, they own that too, right? Because that's a lesson as well. But Jeff, share with us what's big. And I think bigger than everything we discuss is the mindset. And I know you're the co-author of the 7 Mindsets to Live Your Ultimate Life.
Yeah.
One of my people said, just has gone through. How significant is that for both student and parent, especially today?
You broke up a little bit there, Juan.
How significant is having the right mindset before you go to college, both student and parent?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything. I think every kid that goes to college has extraordinary potential in them. Every one of us has the ability to do something really significant with our life. Now those talents could differ, but I'm telling you, my youngest daughter, she, I don't know, she may not be a great student, but someday she's going to be a school teacher or a counselor, and she's going to be the greatest school teacher ever, because of just she's got empathy, she's got compassion. And so all of us have the ability to do something amazing with our lives, but it's the mindset that's going to get us to acquire the skills and put ourselves in the positions and take advantage of the opportunities that are put in front of us, and then we'll build the skills and we'll do the things we need to be successful. But it all starts with It all starts with the perspective, the attitude. I know there's a quote, positive thinking won't give you everything you want in life, but it'll give you a whole lot more than negative thinking will.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I'm just telling you, it is what differentiates people who go on to live happy, meaningful, successful lives and those who don't.
Absolutely.
Because they come from the same places, they have the same skills, the same IQs, the same physical attributes. But so why is it that they ultimately go on and do more? It's because of their mindsets, their attitudes, their perspectives. And so
yeah, absolutely. And I know Christine will have to work on bringing Jeff over to the schools one of these days on one of these trips to Haiti, for sure.
We love that.
Share a little bit about your book, Jeff. You did earlier, but give us a snippet in 30 seconds. What is the purpose of that book?
Ridiculously Amazing Schools?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been in thousands of schools, and we've seen schools that thrive and schools that don't. And we just asked the question, why is it? And ultimately it came down to culture. And why is it they have a culture? It's because they understand that education's only as good as the educators. It's only as good as the parent. Parenting is only as good as the parent, and how do we get that parent? How do we get that educator in a place where they're confident and comfortable? Because ultimately they have to be in that place so they can have a conversation that's relevant and engaging. That's important because that lets us build a relationship. And that's important because it takes that relationship to actually be able to help and have impact in someone else's life. And it happens in that order. And you can't impact somebody if you're just preaching to them and you don't have a relationship with them. And so that's just what we learned, and that's what we're really working with schools around the country to do, because that is the secret sauce. That's what makes a school great. It's the same thing that made a school great in 1960, same thing that made a school great in 1990. It's the same thing that makes schools great in 2021.
I hear you, Jeff. I know you have a lot of resources in your mind, books and so on, but what are some websites that both the young people and the parents can look into? I know I shared one, which is collegefindme.com.
Yeah.
For example, that site is created for students who are seeking to go to college, and you download on that platform your profile, your characteristics, what you did, what you've accomplished, and so forth. And then they take your information and share it with colleges that are looking for students like you. collegefindme.com. What are some sources? I know we got 7 Mindsets, Biznovator.com, 7 Mindsets. What are some good sites that today, or apps that young people and parents can tap into?
That's a good question. I don't know if I'm the best. I would say, I would always, we do a quote of the day, that you could sign up for. You can see it on our Instagram page, on our Facebook page. It's a really good daily reminder of, hey, I need to change the way I'm thinking. Here's some good stuff. When we really were trying to help figure out how to help people find their passion, how to find joy, we leaned on a lot of research that was done at the University of Pennsylvania by a guy named Martin Seligman.
Positive.
And they have a website. What? Yeah, they have a website called Authentic Happiness. I believe it's AuthenticHappiness.org. And there's a ton of surveys and tools out there that you can take to kind of see, do I have gratitude? Do I have gratitude in my life? Am I an optimist or a pessimist? And I think that process of self-discovery is the most important thing you need to do, and start to really see who you are. And I would say that would be a site. And then I don't know. There's all kinds of sites that I think help you understand who you are, what your strengths are. I'm a big fan of a product called Enneagram, ENNEAGRAM. And it's just a really great resource. That it's a survey you take, and it tells you a lot about yourself and helps you understand how you interact with other people and the types of things that you're going to be good at. So that's where I would point to start, And then I think there's the practical stuff that helps you with college applications. And we got really involved in find scholarships, and there's a lot of resources out there to find scholarships. And that process, just thinking about who you are and the types of scholarship dollars that you're applicable for, helps you a lot too.
Yes. I put up on the chat here. Definitely. If you are about to go to college, or you're a sophomore or junior thinking about it, commonapp.com. The Common App is a platform that allows you to choose from 400 colleges plus. I believe it works in Canada and of course the US. And again, you fill out one application and it's distributed to the schools you select them to send it to. Commonapp.com. Well, let me share with you, if your child's in middle school, you can start exposing them real early, just start exposing them. But no later than their sophomore year in high school, at around 16, they should be tapping into this. From a certain perspective, it's become so competitive and so confusing for students to get into the better colleges, to secure funding. It's painful, right? Because they keep measuring the potential of that kid's success in college based on academics, and not enough on certain other strengths they have that don't get measured, right? So that's where I have a big battle with all this. The SAT, the ACT, the foreign English exam you got to take if you're coming in from another country. You got to be a 3.5. You got to score 1,400, 1,500. But you could be the best golfer or the best rock painter, right? And things like that. Unfortunately, that's how they measure you to get in. I also put up their Strength Finder. That's a good measurement tool for strengths. It's a book. It's a disc. I put up there also Core Value Index. Biznovator has the license to use that. I love it on values. DISC assessment, DISC. Myers-Briggs, probably more for adults, but they have one coming out for teenagers. So there's things that you can do now because they may have certain strengths today that you don't even know of, or those strengths may no longer become important to them and they go to something else. So, but let them find out, let them find out what these are. For College Find Me, I love it. We are in partnership with them. Common App, good source, once again. And if you need help, just simply email. You got my email out there, Jeff. Give me your email. Is it jeff@sevenmindses.com? Yeah. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
So very simple. Jeff, still the same. Jeff.
Still the same, man.
Jeff@sevenmindses.com.
Yeah.
Let me, Christine, do you have any parent that's present that you think will want to share a little something that you want to recognize for the great work they're doing with their students and so on? That you know of that's here in the Zoom? Anybody that you recognize it?
She was supposed to be here, but she couldn't make it. As I told you, yeah.
That's Anik. Well, let me share Anik. Talk about an involved mother and father. She had some concerns about her son finishing his senior year in high school in Haiti. So she started doing all this research and so forth and reached out to Christine, and Christine put us in touch. These are also alumni of Biznovator. And now she was able to sign them up for coaching sessions that I did. And then we worked on him applying to a school in Florida that accepted him to finish his senior year in Florida. So this does two things. One, he's in a more comfortable environment. Jeff alluded to earlier, how can you bring that amazing brain to the classroom when you're worried about issues, in your community and so on? It's tough enough as it is. So number two, it also gives them the opportunity to graduate from a US high school, making it easier to apply to US universities, right? When you are graduating from high schools, even if you're a citizen of the United States, but you're graduating from a foreign high school, the available funds, scholarships, financial aid are much less and harder to get. And you're competing with the world trying to study in the US. So those two benefits exist in that particular case. So she's a model student in that she's always looking for, the edge for their two boys, and they both are involved as parents. So that's, we like to always recognize parents that are doing amazing things like Paola and Christine who are here. And that's a good thing.
Juan, what I can say for myself, which really helped to answer your question too, Paola, is that doing internships as soon as possible is the best way to go as well. Because when they experience, if they're not sure, like for my daughter, she wasn't sure she wanted to study law for the longest time. But then she did an internship and she realized, actually, you know what, it's not really what I wanted to do. But then I sent her to a camp where she did introduction to psychology. And this is where she realized, this is what I want to do. So when you expose them to experiences, I think it's the best way to go. And that's why one parent was asking, because through Biznovator too, we can set up internships. My son just did one this past month. He did an internship in Miami, and it was an amazing experience for him. So yeah. I think exposing them to that it's a really, really good thing. So Absolutely. One parent was asking Juan, if where can she get internships for her kids? So that would be a good thing to talk about too.
Sure, I put in there my email twice already, I think, but just email me, because internships for high schoolers, or let's say for students who are 16 or 15 or 18, are tougher to get. Most internship opportunities at corporations, for example, they set aside for college students because they're looking to employ them eventually, so they want to observe them. But we do have access to some companies that take in our alumni and our students and so on. So you can email me at jcasimiro Biznovator. The other thing about internship is each one is customized. I don't want to get a kid, or I try as much as possible, not getting a kid an internship in something he's just not interested in. I try as much as possible to connect them with something he's most interested in, right? And you might be surprised, like Christine just mentioned, you might be surprised that what I thought I was interested in is definitely not what I want. Well, that's the value of the internship, right? You gain skills, you're going to get a letter of recommendation for college. In some cases, they get paid, right? They communicate, they're given some very challenging projects that they have to submit, and they're treated like part of the team. There's no excuses. You got to arrive on time. You got deadlines to meet. They treat you like an employee, all right? So we take it serious. So each one is customized. If interested in getting your kids into an internship. Jeff, do you guys take interns at 7 Mindsets?
Yeah, I mean, we've had Bernardo and James Mwakichako from Kenya, and
many.
Mahmoud. So yeah, we typically have one or two that are working with us, and we love it. So it's definitely an opportunity.
Yeah, we take interns for Biznovator as well. For example, Catalina, Virginia, virtually. Mm-hmm. By the way, I still haven't met these young ladies in person yet, but they very much feel like my daughters, and they're just sponges wanting to keep learning. And if you have children like that, you want to keep giving them those opportunities to learn. Yeah, let them absorb. I not once asked our student, "Are you an A student?" To be honest. Doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I am asking, what experiences do you have? Did you work during the summers? Have you interned? Are you a leader in a school club? Did you start a school club? Did you start a business? Are you happy? Can you solve problems? How innovative are you? How creative are you? Oh, by the way, you have a Harvard degree. That's good. I like that. But it's all those other things that I'm looking for. And those aren't my things. That's what HR directors are looking for today. beyond the academics. They're looking for soft skills, problem solvers, innovators, risk takers. Are they willing to learn and communicate and all that stuff? And some of these companies aren't even asking for resumes. They give them projects to manage on the spot. And if you have a college degree, I think it definitely helps. I'm a fan of it. Yes, go to college, but don't look at college as the only thing there for you to do is academic. There's a whole lot more you can do beyond academic in college. A lot. Leadership, development, discovery, research, internships. You can even teach while you're in college, right? So the seniors and sophomore, juniors in college, sometimes they're brought on to teach the freshmen, the younger students. There's all kinds of opportunities. And that's what we want to encourage. We're wrapping it up. If there are no questions, I want to address that the next session will be on January 6th with Ken Finneran. And Catalina, you're going to show that flyer. Then I'm going to come back, and Jeff, you close us out with some motivational messages after this flyer gets pulled up. So the next one is the Biznovator talk, right? New year, the new normal, and new preparations for college and careers. Ken is an HR guru, global HR director of eMed, his most recent corporation that he's involved with. And that's on January 6th. Christine will be reaching out. But please, if you think you've learned something today, definitely share the experience and then share the information for January 6th. All right, you can close that out now, Kata. Close the thing, and then let's get Jeff back out. Any closing remarks, Jeff? Closing remarks. Unless there are no other questions. No?
Yeah.
Okay, no questions.
You want me to go? Go, Poppy?
I think, Paola, you have a question, or Paola's mom, daughter? There's a question.
Yes, I have a question. So in the beginning, I heard you both talk about the Ultimate Life Summit, and I'm just interested in it. Like, what experiences can I gain from it as a student if I want to participate?
Yeah, it's an awesome event. We bring about 100 kids from anywhere from 10 to 15 different countries to Disney World. And it's about a week. We teach the 7 mindsets, and they experience a lot of different things. In my opinion, it's the premier youth empowerment event in the world. It's age 13 to 19. We've been doing it now since 2009. We did have to, we couldn't do it this past summer because of COVID. And I don't think we're going to do it next summer. It just, you have to make the decision in November to do it. And with all the uncertainty around COVID and the challenges, we just weren't ready to commit. But I'm confident that in 2023, we will be back. It is in our blood. And so keep an eye open, ultimatelifesummit.com.
Yeah, to Disney.
And
I must say, it's the premier youth empowerment experience. 30-something countries, 7 days at Disney. What's interesting, Jeff, is that Disney becomes secondary.
Yeah.
Once they start connecting with the mindsets, it's about them and the mindsets, the camaraderie. And then Disney's like secondary after. Luca, Christine's son, was there, the last one that we did.
Oh, good.
He's an alumni of Ultimate Life Summit. I urge you to do that. And you can make this a good 3-week experience. You can make this a good 3-week experience, because if you do the 7 mindsets in 2023, you can stay within Florida and do Biznovator, which is a 2-week residential program at Florida International University. And that one is on innovation, entrepreneurship, leadership, service project. We visit 4 corporations, 4 universities, and there's a pitch competition. And the business idea has to also have an impact in the community using technology innovation. But if there are no other questions, I put some sources on there. Use them, reach out to the emails, and we'll help as much as we can. You want to close us out, Jeff?
I don't know. I guess Juan, since I've known you, we've worked with 50,000 kids, and it's so easy to kind of be scared of the future and worry about what's going on in the world and politics. And I don't know. I just have tremendous hope. I see the young people that we work with. I see how engaged they are in society, how aware they are of maybe the mistakes our generations have made and the things that need to be fixed in the world, and then how compelled they are to do something about it. And I just got a ton of hope. You know, I just really do. I really believe that we're going to come through this, and that we're going to be fantastic. And, you know, everything that exists today was just an idea. And I'm telling you, man, every kid out there has the opportunity to do something extraordinary and live a great life. And I think if we just come at it from that perspective, if we just believe in them, you know, if you ask me what I want my children to say about me, you know, when they're at my funeral someday, hopefully a long time from now, it's that my dad believed in me, you know, and he taught me to believe in myself. And it was that courage that he gave me to act that ultimately allowed me to do the things that I needed to do to get the life that I wanted to have. And I just think that's it, you know. And I think if we can believe in the future and believe in the children and believe in what the gifts are that they have, and even though it doesn't look like what we think it should look like, and even though it's different than it used to be, I think they're really well set up for the future. And you know, that's just my perspective.
That's great. That's great.
Yep.
Thank you, parents. Thank you,
All right.
Christine, for setting this up. Thank you, Rosa, Catalina, Virginia, and parents again. We look forward to seeing you January 6th. Please tell others. God bless. Thank you all so much.
See you, Juan. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Jeff, for your
Thank you,
time.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.